He thought he was invisible, just another face in the crowd. But a single glance, a whispered accusation, changed everything. In the blink of an eye, respect turned to suspicion, and safety became a distant memory. No warning, no reason, just the color of his skin made him a target. What happened next would not only test his courage, but reveal a truth many refused to see. This is a story about fear, injustice, and the silent battles that echo through generations. And yet, the question remains, how far would you go when the world decides you don't belong? It was a quiet afternoon in a neighborhood that felt like home. Marcus had just left his part-time job at the local bookstore, the familiar rhythm of daily life comforting him. He waved at neighbors, nodded at the corner cafe owner, and adjusted the strap of his backpack as he walked. Everything seemed ordinary until a group of strangers appeared across the street, their eyes fixed on him in a way that made his chest tighten. He shrugged it off, telling himself he was imagining things, but a small knot of unease had already formed. Something in the air felt different, heavier, as if the world had silently shifted. And yet, Marcus had no idea that in just minutes, his ordinary day would turn into a nightmare that exposed a truth many still refused to acknowledge. That Marcus's pace quickened as the strangers drew closer. Their eyes didn't just follow him. They pinned him, heavy and accusing, as if his presence alone had broken an unspoken rule. He felt every heartbeat echoing in his chest, every breath a struggle against a rising tension. A passerby glanced briefly, then looked away, unwilling to intervene. The street that once felt safe now seemed like a stage where judgment had already been passed. Then came the first words, sharp, cold, slicing to the hum of the afternoon. "You don't belong here." Marcus froze, his stomach dropping. His mind raced. Was it misunderstanding? Could he explain? But the men didn't wait for answers. One stepped closer, shoving him slightly, testing boundaries, watching his reaction. Fear and anger collided inside him, but Marcus held his ground, gripping his backpack like a lifeline. A small crowd began to gather, drawn by the sudden tension. Whispers circled him, some sympathetic, some questioning, but no one dared intervene. His pulse hammered in his ears, every step measured, every glance over his shoulder a reminder that he was alone in a storm he hadn't caused. As he tried to move past them, one of the men blocked his path entirely, a smirk playing at the corner of his lips. Humiliation and rage bubbled, but the world seemed frozen, waiting to see what he would do next. The tension snapped. One of the men shoved Marcus hard against the wall, his backpack tumbling to the ground. Pain shot through his shoulder, but worse was the realization that no one would step in. Faces around him blurred, some watching with curiosity, some with silent judgment, but no one offered help. The words returned, louder this time, cutting deep. "You don't belong here. You never have." Marcus's chest tightened. Every instinct screamed to fight, to run, to scream, but the weight of years of unseen prejudice pressed down on him. Memories flashed of every subtle glance, every dismissive comment. Every moment he had been reminded that his very existence was questioned. And yet, amid the fear and humiliation, something inside him stirred, an unyielding refusal to let this define him. With trembling hands, he picked up his backpack, shoulders squared despite the ache, and looked directly at the man in front of him. Time slowed. Every heartbeat felt amplified. This was the moment, the point where courage collided with injustice. He could let the world win, or he could take a stand, however small, against a cruelty that shadowed his life. Marcus finally took a step back, letting the moment pass without giving his attackers the satisfaction of seeing him break. His body ached, his hands shook, but quiet strength had settled over him. He walked away, each step heavy yet resolute, carrying not just his backpack, but the weight of a truth too many try to ignore. The incident had ended, but the impact lingered. It was a sharp reminder of how prejudice can turn ordinary moments into battles no one should have to fight. In the days that followed, Marcus realized that courage wasn't about defeating others. It was about standing tall despite the fear, refusing to let hatred define him. Every glance, every whispered doubt, every silent bystander was a call to action for awareness, empathy, and change. This wasn't just a story. It was a story of countless others facing invisible walls every day, struggling to navigate a world that judges by the color of their skin rather than the content of their character. So, the question remains, how many more Marcus moments will it take before we recognize the cost of silence? How long will injustice go unchallenged? And what will you do the next time you witness it?